What are some girl secrets guys don't know about? Late to the party. But some of us shave our toes. Guy secrets. We like compliments. We wish you were more direct. We actually have feelings. Girl secret. My friends and I in college would always use the restroom as sort of a half time throughout the night. How are you feeling? Do you think you're too drunk? Are you cool with that guy dancing on you? Are we leaving separately or together? That sort of stuff was always asked. The weird stray hairs on your chin, neck, cheek. I had one on my neck that I never knew about until recently. I tweezed it off. And it was about 3 inches long. How did I not see this before? Lots of women don't primarily take anti-conception pills because they have sex and don't want to get pregnant. But for various health reasons. E.g. severe acne, passing out from blood loss during period, etc. I play with my boobs when I'm by myself. I do this too. The other day I was drunk and shot my tampon into the toilet while pushing out a poop. I frequently have snacks in my purse. I don't tell because I don't want to share. Taking off a bra without removing any other garments is not that hard. Jizz drips. I'm surprised I don't hear about this more. But I guess most folks are using condoms and it's a weird subject to bring up. When you come in a vagina, it doesn't exactly get absorbed. It drips out. Sometimes for over an hour. It comes out more quickly if the gal is on top. Which is why after sex I go to the bathroom and 1. Pee to prevent a UTI and 2. Push the jizz out. And then go to bed. Period poop and farts. I am not even kidding. But the cramps feel better after pooping. Most guys don't seem to get that once the actual bleeding is over during a period the cleaning fluid is still coming out at dark brown for a few days. Making it still worthy of a pad or liner. I call this the after party. Bras do not get washed after every wear. Many men know this. And kudos to them. For the straight guys who do not. Hitting the cervix is not a universally crazy great sex move. A lot of us find that to be pretty ducking high and uncomfortable. Please check with your partner for their individual opinion on this. I have never hit a cervix. Hey ladies. When you shampoo, some of the hair that falls out will get stuck into your ass. As a guy, I constantly end up with my wife's hair somewhere in my pants. Usually ends up around my junk somehow. If I'm putting my legs in your lap it's because I just shaved and I want you to point it out because I took time out of my day to shave and be smooth for you. Sometimes when we fart it goes forward and basically makes our vaginas vibrate. It feels really goddamn weird. Edit. If this gets put in a BuzzFeed article you guys have to pay me. We are often secreting vaginal cleaning fluids. Sometimes guys are surprised when we're wet with no foreplay. Without realizing that it's got nothing to do with how turned on we are and everything to do with our vag cleaning itself. These same guys automatically assume that we don't need any foreplay because we're already wet. Side note on these cleaning fluids. Sometimes they're acidic enough to bleach panties. That's a normal occurrence and nothing to be concerned about. Edit. Guys, there isn't literal bleach in women's vaginas. I was using it as a verb. The sun bleaches things but isn't by definition bleach. It's a normal thing for females, or at least a portion, to worry about getting uphead or overpowered in a situation. If it's past 9:00 and I'm outside, I'm suspicious of every dark figure strolling by. I have this fear of letting my guard down and then suddenly I get tackled and uphead in a dungeon somewhere. So I just keep my guard up. I live in a bad neighborhood. By the way, we have period underwear that's usually reserved for days 1 and 2 of our cycle. Girls have the ultimate poker faces. We are able to keep straight faces when a clot oozes out or a sneeze hits and turns things into Texas Chainsaw Massacre down below. I shave my face. No, it's not super hairy, more a fine, downy patch on my cheeks. It doesn't grow back darker or thicker. It's way easier, cheaper, and more convenient than waxing. Scientific note: hair does not grow back thicker when you shave it. I've had this discussion with people that have almost turned into arguments. People believe this religiously, even though it makes no sense. Even though there's an explanation for the illusion, people cling on to this belief. It's insane. It looks thicker because you're seeing the hair that's cut at an angle. It feels coarser because it's cut at an angle. One boob is usually bigger than the other. When guys try to act cool in front of girls, it's painfully obvious and almost always goes awry. We can use just eye contact to ask a stranger, female, to come save us from a creep. Normally they will pretend to be friends and offer to stay with you until you find your mates. We really don't give anywhere near as much of a shit about your DCK size as you. I have no idea what gives men the idea that their DCK is the center of a woman's pleasure. There is this beautiful thing called a clitoris. Find it. I'm so horny on my period I feel like a cat in heat. Our hair is wrapped up in the towel turban after showers. What guys wanted to hear? Naked pillow fights. What we got? Chunky meat period. If you stick your thumb up your cooch you can push tea out by pressing the wall that separates the vag from your intestines. Just because our nipples are visibly hard through our shirt doesn't mean we are necessarily turned on sexually. It's just erectile tissue and that happens if you brush your chest with your arm while doing something. Or any other random reason. It's ducking expensive. Pads, tampons, hygiene products all add up quickly. Not to mention makeup, which is often expected to look professional or put together. Almost every woman out there has little hairs around the nipples that we remove. Most of our secrets have to do with us being human. Having hair and other bodily functions. Edit. A real of course. Sometimes when you are asleep, we masturbate right next to you. How do you get into my room? Also, could you wake me up next time? Lots of women, myself included, get really scared when guys raise their voice. Even if we've never had a man be violent with us. I know several females that, before they go on a first date with a guy, they'll share their location with a friend and text them that guy's full name. Just in case. We do and don't care about DCK size. There's a really large threshold where it doesn't ducking matter, but most girls would be unhappy with a 3 or 4 inch DCK or a 9 inch monster. Some women aren't really into penetration and then oral and fingers and foreplay are substantial enough, but other girls do like penetration and those girls might like a larger size. Not everyone does though. Lots of vaginas are pretty shallow. Also, pro tip. If you have a larger package, make sure there's lots of foreplay because the vaginal canal actually lengthens when turned on. And just because her panties are wet doesn't mean it's necessarily ready for your magnum dong. Vaginas are self-cleaning and are sometimes just wet. Most guys may know about light days or heavy days. But not a lot of guys know about what my first wife called chunky days. I've been sharing some of your responses with my wife. And she says all you guys getting grossed out and noping out of the thread are a bunch of pussies. Seriously, men. If you can get past the gross factor, you have no idea how this can work for you. I have given you such a huge information leap and you all are worried about a little grossness. Yep. Chopped liver. Always a fun experience for us girls. Oh, and period TS. A good old PB&J wipe is another joy. Sometimes we rather masturbate than have sex. Alright, since no one else has brought it up and I have vaguely mentioned it. Symptoms of premenopause don't always start in your 40s or 50s. It's not unheard of to begin in your 20s and it's actually not super uncommon for it to happen in your 30s. Hormones are weird. Especially in women. And it's likely helpful for the hetero men here to understand a little about it if you intend to share your life with a woman. Ducking, buckle in. My mom started premenopause when she was my age, 30, and didn't actually go through it until she was 55. So 25 years of weird hormonal things they never even tell us about. I honestly didn't know about how this presents until recently when I started showing symptoms. Something that has always annoyed me is how little menopause gets talked about. I took anatomy classes in college and there would be a unit on the female reproductive system. It covered menarche and normal cycles but didn't even mention menopause. Now I'm 30 and all I know about menopause is hot flashes and irregular bleeding. I keep just about anything you might need during the day in my purse. Band-aids, pads, snacks, a vibrator, etc. I even found a mini water gun in there a week ago. Purses are ducking magical. I never expected a comment about my Mary Poppins purse getting 300 upvotes. And yes, a lot of girls carry a vibrator in their purse. I thought more guys knew this but apparently not. A vibrator? For like a quick orgasm while waiting for the bus? Then the water gun to cool off? It all makes sense now. Reading through this, and with all the period stuff listed, I feel sorry for the women who have monthly periods. Not all women are regular. I only have about 5 periods a year, I believe. What I call surprise poop. I go to pee and all of a sudden I start pooping. With no earlier warning of feeling like I have to poop. Also, it's hard not to fart when we go pee. Girls, don't tell them about the multiplayer games in the restrooms. The clitoris has more nerve endings than a dickhead. Screw the G spot. Focus on the C spot. God, I love Reddit. It's nice to have an open discussion about what our bodies do naturally without people losing their shit. That for some women who don't get laid regularly but like to be groomed when they do. It can be either constant upkeep or spending several hours a day of getting things in order. I'm a guy but this is something that the girls would do in my high school that I thought was really interesting. Whenever a girl entered or exited the restroom, it was common courtesy to turn on the hand dryer. I was told they did this so that there would be background noise so that they wouldn't have to listen to each other use the bathroom. I had never seen such a construct in a men's restroom and thought it was pure genius. We can get turned on by the smallest and most random things. We don't need to see a DCK shadow in sweet pants to get turned on, although it never hurts. For example, I love when guys wear necklaces or small chains. Something about it just gets me going. Or if they are sitting on the train reading a book. Just tell us what you all are doing in the bathroom. You all upvote the wildest things. Mostly removing hair, pooping, grooming, that kind of thing. I shave my knuckles. IDK if someone has already said this. Wiping during a period can sometimes give what we call a PB&J. Thank you. And good night Reddit. Late to the game here, but still throwing in my 2 cents. If we whip out lube, or ask you to use some, it is not meant as a slight against you or your sexual abilities. While we do self-produce lubricant, it is oftentimes more pleasurable, for both parties, if a little extra is added. Also, naturally produced lubricant dries faster, and has a rather unpleasant feeling to it once it dries. I wish men would stop being so prudish or offended by the idea of lube. Men, buy some lube, or ask your girl to pick some up of her choosing. And don't be afraid to use IT. Make sure it's one that is water-based if you're using condoms. And try to keep it as natural as possible. Skip the flavored kind if you're using for intercourse. I've had a higher sex drive than most of my partners. We love to duck and masturbate the same as men. My dirty thoughts are absolutely filthy. So I assume most girls can be just as sexually outrageous driven as men. We're used to being underestimated. I personally use it as impetus. But it's frustrating as hell. We don't always want to know what you're thinking about. I'm usually thinking about that one time I tripped in front of the classroom when I was 7. Being superficially pinned against another woman by a man is the worst. Women need to support each other, not compete. There's enough of that in the world. Aggressive masculinity isn't SI. We can tell when you're trying too hard. And it just puts our defenses up. We actually sturbut even though we don't talk about it. Shock horror. I know many now know we sturbut. But when you were 14 you probably didn't expect your crush to be getting it on as much as you did. I needed to read all of this. I learned a few things, like that's why my underwear is bleached. I knew it had something to do with that. It sucks that this isn't discussed more. It helps normalize the natural functions of our bodies. If we're on a date and my hair is tied up, it's probably because I was too lazy to wash my hair and wasn't that interested in the first place. However, if we're in bed together and getting hot and heavy and I tie my hair up, don't ducking complain. I'm about to give you the best BJ ever and I don't want my damn hair getting in the way. I judge men on whether they're capable of buying feminine hygiene products without freaking out or trying to hide it beneath other groceries at the register. My BFF's boyfriend knows what kind of pads and tampons she uses by brand and number of drops on the drop scale. That's a real man. Taking care of his woman. Knowing what she needs. And by this I mean, we all have specific products that works great for our ladder bits. And we have tried products that were horrendous. Even the hottest, most SI girl you've ever seen in your life has at some point taken a big, nasty, stinky dump. Now take a moment to let that sink in. For the record, we're all human. It happens. They die when they are killed. The positioning of the cervix moves around throughout the menstrual cycle, in case you didn't know. The menstrual cycle does not stop at our periods. It is an ongoing thing from the time we get our first period to the time we hit menopause. So sometimes, certain positions during sex may be uncomfortable for us girls while other times, that same position might be totally fine. Also, vaginas loosen up when the person is turned on. Natural lubrication also occurs. They tighten back up once sex is over. Girls do not have loose vaginas from having too much sex, too many partners. If you're turning her on, it should be loose, not tight. Please communicate with your partner. Chunky periods. Period. DCK pics are not a good way to attract a girl. Seriously, stop sending them unless they are requested. Goofy. Funny guys are the biggest turn on. If I'm cracking up. We already know that I was just joking is how men pronounce the words I ducked up, but I won't admit it. We usually don't care what you think about how we look. We mostly get pretty for each other. We most definitely have a favorite bra, which will be worn consecutively day after day, even if we have 10 other bras in our closet. The clitoris is on the leg. That one pocket in your purse. Dot. We know what it's for. We all put our pads and tampons in there. It's that pocket men just don't go in. I think subconsciously, they know not to venture into that black hole of feminine products. The pocket is like the gates of hell. Abandon all hope. Ye who enter here. I don't know any woman that can put her bra on by clipping it at the back. I put mine on back to front. Clasp it at the front. Turn it around and push my arms in. We spend a lot of time humoring guys. You have no idea how much we humor you. Luckily we find it kind of cute. I can change car tires, light bulbs, lift heavy things, etc, but I rarely get the chance to do these things because I have to let guys do them. Otherwise they start to feel bad about themselves. Also, we are always in control of the friend zone. Absolutely nothing you can do will make us change our minds unless we decided to anyways. And chances are our reasons for changing our minds won't be the reason you think. It'll be something you consider completely irrational. I have confessed to thee. My wife does this. If she's feeling lazy, she only shaves her legs up to her thigh. Doesn't matter to me, but it's pretty common and some guys have way too high standards. Well, the hair grows differently from the knee down. So as long as we get that part, it's usually fine to skip the top here and there. Below the knee, hair grows in much more coarse and the thigh hairs are softer, lighter, and grow in slower in my opinion. Period poop WTF. I just discovered its existence in another post. 4 words for you. Peanut butter jelly time. Your sister is kinda hot. That being on your period feels like someone dropped a flaming anvil on your pelvis complete with rotating blender blades. Not sure if this is all women or not, but having sex after eating when your tummy is full. When that toot happens because you just can't stop it from all his movement. Yes. Sex can make a woman fart even against her will. A tampon string is called a ripcord. You know the song Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons? My friend's boyfriend constantly breaks out in silent teary laughter whenever the line "pull me like a ripcord" is sung. Reads thread. I'm going back to bed. I need to restart my morning. Women are generally a lot quieter around men and don't really cut loose with their jokes and funny conversations too much in mixed company. I have friends who are hilarious, like comedy writer funny, in a group of women, but clam up and when there are men around. Don't know why, I guess they aren't as at ease around men. I'm a male nurse and agree. After a while in the friend zone, it's okay. I'm married, they loosen up and women are actually worse than men. We get friend zone too. Also, just because a girl looks feminine in the traditional sense, it doesn't mean she would not be into knowledgeable about guy stuff. Must have been said already. I hope you mean we don't wash our bras daily. Duck that. Ain't no one got enough time or bras to exchange them as you would underwear. But please, wash your bras every now and then. Most women do not orgasm from intercourse. 80% in fact. I have never in my life thus far, 28, had an orgasm from penetration. And it is extremely irritating when guys think it's a challenge. Like, no. My shitty don't work like that, bruh. Glad to be married and past that noise. I don't get waxed for anyone but myself, but I do want men to know that if they are with a woman who has had a Brazilian wax, that they really ought to worship the woman. This shitty cost me $50 and hurt like hell. That putting in a tampon and having to pee in 30 minutes sucks. Ripping out a dry tampon is one of the worst feelings. So you pee anyways and try to avoid peeing on the string. Facts. Just tuck the string up a little or hold it from the back. All these chicks just giving out our secrets left and right. SHHHHH. Till vaginas are satanic. Girls. Poop. It's true. I'd sooner believe that Canadian is real. I've learned things from this thread I could have went my whole life without learning. I'm like one more fact away from reverting back to girls are icky. Childbirth doesn't actually hurt. It's a massive conspiracy we came up with. It's more like a gentle tickling sensation. Don't tell anyone. Can I just give a whoosh to anyone who downvotes? Boob hair. We get boob hair. You can end almost any argument in 3 easy steps. 1. You're right. 2. I'm sorry. 3. Girls actually do poop and fart, and because they are so polite about it and repress that shit all day, when they do it is tenfold more toxic. Lots of straight girls watch lesbian PRN. I'm not a girl, but I recently found out that girls don't like it when guys speak for them. When we wipe after peeing, little bits of toilet paper get stuck on our vaginas and just live there until we wash or pick them off. Clit fetty. Clitty litter. Guys enter this thread expecting some SI secrets about the ladies. Guys leave the thread screaming in terror when they find these secrets are all about vagina cleaning issues. Gently touch the clit.